Hey, house guests! Welcome to today's Big Brother 24 updates and spoilers. I'm sorry, I'm in a goofy mood today because I'm really annoyed with what's going on in the house, and this is my way of not punching a wall. But anyway, our house guests of the day are John Schwan and George Lane the Fourth. Thank you all. Thank you both so much for your support. We could not do this without you. We appreciate it so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. It's only $1 for a holla, and it's a great time. Thank you everybody for being here. It's gonna be a crazy update and spoiler because we got a lot to talk about from Saturday, from yesterday, from today. So much. But before we get into it, I just want to thank our super chatters from the other day because that is another fantastic way to support our channel. So Jefferson Tucker, Angela H, Donald Butts, Darby C, Meg, and Jefferson Tucker, again, thank you all so much. And I see Jefferson's back. He says, I cannot on Will Ferrell's birthday week. I know, right? Is it his birthday week? He says, disgusting. Wait, wasn't Taylor supposed to have a huge blow up and make everyone uncomfortable? What a complete shit show. I know, right? It's almost like these house guests are full of microaggressions, but we'll get there. So thank you so much as always, Jefferson. We really do appreciate your support. It's awesome. All right. I'm heated. I feel very hot right now. So when we left off, feels like so long ago, Michael and Terrence were up on the block. And Daniel was claiming Michael and Terrence talked the least amount of game with him. That's his reason for putting them up. But in reality, Daniel was targeting Michael because Michael is a super fan and Daniel is intimidated by that. And Terrence was just a pawn. So Daniel has been pretty upfront in telling people that Terrence is a pawn and that he doesn't want Terrence to go this week. So then, they had the power veto competition. Michael was all WWJD. What would Janelle do? She would win. So I need to get out there and win. So the host was Kyle. The players were Daniel, Michael, Terrence, Turner, Indy, and Amira. And going into it, it seemed like the power veto was only going to be used this week if one of the nominees won. And it maybe still wouldn't have been used if Terrence won, because Terrence was telling Daniel, look, if I win the power of veto, maybe I won't use it on myself. Maybe I'll leave the nominations the same to build trust with you. Yikes. But guess what? We don't have to worry about that scenario because Michael won the power of veto. He did what Janelle would do. Woo! So now Daniel is going to have to pick a new target, and everybody is a scrambling. So everybody's trying to get in their time with Daniel now. And Taylor was actually the first one talking to Daniel when the feeds came back. So Taylor's asking, do you have anyone in mind that you're thinking of for the replacement nominee? And Daniel's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. He says, my pool of options keeps getting smaller. And that's bound to happen when you say that you're not going to nominate any of the strong, beefy guys. But he also said, obviously he can't nominate Pooch or the backstagers. He was going to nominate Pooch anyway. But he means the girl backstagers. So that those options are getting more and more limited. So Daniel knows he's got to either put up a big target and get them out, or he's going to have to put up someone even more likable than Terrence, and then Terrence goes. Not Terrence. So Daniel says it would be really effing myself over, not just for next week, but for the whole summer, if I put up one of the buff dudes who's also charming. And then that dude ends up saying, yeah, Daniel's not going after any of those guys. He's not going to do it. He said in his pre-show interviews, he's not going to go after big threats like that until week 6. And this is week 1, even though it feels like week 6. So anyway, Daniel is not going to be doing that. So meanwhile, this is interesting. Paloma and Alyssa are already plotting Daniel's downfall. If only he knew about this, but I guess he can't put them up this week anyway, so that really doesn't matter. But Paloma and Alyssa want Daniel on the block next week. Paloma was getting a really bad feeling about Daniel after that POV competition. She says Daniel is problematic on so many levels. That's funny coming from Paloma. And she says he's a poor sport. She doesn't like that he accused Indy of cheating during the power veto competition. She says that he's really negative. He's not handling things in a positive way. So Alyssa says if she wins the HOH next week, she's going to put up Daniel and Nicole, and Taylor would be the replacement nominee if necessary. Okay. So then a little later, Terrence has his one-on-one chat with David. Who's David? With Daniel. And Daniel says, Terrence, I effing love you. I don't want you to go anywhere. So I need to figure out what we're going to do here. So Terrence is like, well, I'm hoping that a bigger threat will be going up next to me so that I'll be good to go. And he's telling Daniel it'll be a big resume move for you. You know, you're taking out a big target right off the top. People don't usually do that. Hello, Karen from BB Can 5. I mean, she was a baller. But yeah, most people don't do that. So that could be huge for you. But Terrence is also bringing up, you know, those buff dudes are going to start doing really well in competitions. We're going to have a lot of physical ones, I'm sure. So Daniel is like, yeah, I know, I get it, but I don't want to do that. So Daniel's encouraging Terrence, keep ramping up your social game. You've really improved since the nomination ceremony. Just keep being yourself and winning people over. So Terrence is like, absolutely. I'm going to fight for my life and I'm going to stay as cool as a cucumber, because you know one of the worst things that you can do when you're on the block is just start like spiraling and freaking out, because then people are going to be like, I don't want to deal with you anymore. So he's going to play it cool. So then Daniel says we need to make sure the votes are there if a big threat goes up, because Daniel is terrified that he will try to make a big move and then that person will end up staying and coming after him next week. So I just want to note too, this week is really weird voting wise. Normally week 1, you would have like 13 voters, right? But this week, there's not. This week, you only need 5 votes to evict because of the backstage twist. That's already canceling out 4 votes, right? You've got 2 nominees, you got somebody on the block. So that's 7. 16 minus 7 is 9. So there's only 9 people voting. 5 votes to evict. Meanwhile, Amira and Nicole are chatting about the replacement nominee. I wish what they wanted was like a possibility or something. I don't know. They want to convince Daniel to put up Joe as the replacement nominee. And it's nothing against Joe, but Joe is ready to bro it out the whole season, and that's boring. It's really boring. But yeah, they want to try and convince Daniel to put up Joe as the replacement, and they want to sell this as if Joe is going to be the pawn. They don't want to just sell that to Joe, but they also want to sell that to Daniel as if Joe is going to be the pawn. And then over the next few days, they want to work on Daniel and convince him that Joe should be the one to go. Because Nicole is like, look, I don't want to like flip this vote and get rid of Joe without Daniel's approval and his blessing, right? That would be really shitty for Nicole to be a part of that when she's supposed to be Daniel's final 2. So she's like, I think we can work to convince Daniel that Joseph should go. I don't see Daniel being on board with this at all. He is not budging on this. None of the boys, the broskies are going. But anyway, it'll be a nice try, right? Sure, whatever. So Daniel continues his one-on-ones. Turner is chatting with him in the HOH room. And Turner's like, you know, this could be a really, really big move for the Alliance. So the Alliance he's referring to, there is a group of 3. I believe they're calling themselves the Motley Crew. That is Daniel, Turner, and Pooch. Now, those 3 are also trying to get together a bigger group of dudes called the Oasis. So it's Daniel, Turner, Pooch, Joe, Monty, and Kyle. And you can see that's like all of the guys this season except for the older gentleman and the gay guy. So it's like very reminiscent of the Girls Alliance, which makes me very sad. But anyway, like I'm not liking the way that these alliances in this season is shaping up so far. But I'm hoping that it's still very early and things can change. You never know. But anyway, I'm not trying to be negative during this whole thing, but it can be very discouraging sometimes. So anyway, Turner is saying, with all of our broskies working together, the votes would be there to take out Taylor. And he's like, when else would we be able to do this? No one would be mad about it. Maybe not in the house, but a lot of people would be mad about it on the outside. But Turner says, Taylor is a pageant girl. She does all the politics. I guess he's referring to like the politics of the house. Like she's nice to people. Like, I don't know. I don't know what that means exactly. But he says you can take out a huge competitor week 1 and not have any blood on your hands. The girls would be on board with this too. Turner says I'm very close with Alyssa and Paloma, and while they can't vote this week, they're all for this. You will not have any blood on your hands. Daniel's like, well, I was also considering Indy because Indy hasn't really talked any game with me yet. And that was my reasoning for putting people up on the block in the first place, the people that haven't really talked game with me. So Turner's like, yeah, but let's focus on Taylor first. Like he was pretty adamant about it. And he admits he's intimidated by Taylor being a pageant queen. He says Taylor has been on the circuit. She knows what she's doing. What? This is not like another pageant in her circuit. This is Big Brother. This is completely different, but okay. So I don't know what's going on there, but Turner says a backdoor is the only way to get Taylor out without causing a bomb in this house. Why would you assume that Taylor's going to cause a bomb in the house? Explain yourself, Turner. I mean, really. But anyway, next, Daniel and Nicole check in with each other. And remember, Nicole wants to get Joseph on the block. So Nicole says, Joseph pretty much offered to go up as a pawn this week. So maybe you should take advantage of that. He said that he would do anything for Daniel. But he won't do that. So Nicole is presenting the idea also of possibly taking Joseph out, not just like putting him up on the block. So she's kind of like jumping the gun here a little bit as far as the plan that her and Amira came up with goes. But Daniel's like, yeah, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to take out Joseph. I don't want to take out any of those buff dudes because that alliance that I've got going with Turner and Pooch also is bringing in Monty, Kyle, and Joseph. Those 5 guys are all already on board to vote however I want. So I don't really want to like mess with that whole thing. And Nicole's like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, good point. So Daniel brings up how Turner is trying to get Taylor up on the block and out. So then Daniel and Nicole are discussing how, you know what? Is that really what they want, though? Because keeping Taylor could benefit them. They're hearing from a bunch of people now that nobody likes Taylor. So if she's still there, she could be loyal to the 2 of us, right? If she's not with anybody else. And then when the time comes, somebody else can take her out. We don't have to worry about it. So they're realizing, you know what? It could be good for our games to keep somebody like Taylor in the house. She'll be loyal to us. She'll be a shield for us. I mean, that's pretty logical thinking, right? If they were actually going to do that. But at this point, Daniel is leaning towards putting Indy up on the block because he says, I have no idea where she stands. If she were to win HOH, I don't know what she would do. That's fair, right? Okay. So then Daniel is continuing his one-on-one meetings, and it seems like at this point he has narrowed down the renom options to Indy or Taylor. So as people are coming in and chatting, most people are saying they would be okay with Indy or Taylor going. They're not really close to either of them. Doesn't make that huge of a difference to them. But I do want to note, Monty pushing for Taylor to go. Pooch pushing for Taylor to go. And Pooch, spewing out the micro aggressions. He's like, this is the time to take out Taylor. She's a strong woman. People are going to be scared to try and take her out later because she might make people feel uncomfortable if she's up on the block because she's strong in her opinions, and that's going to bother some people. I'm sorry, but you can't have it both ways. You know, these people are saying that Taylor is standoffish. She's isolating herself from everyone. She's not talking to anybody. But at the same time, they're saying that Taylor is like going to be explosive and she's opinionated and all this stuff. You can't have both. You got to pick one or the other. I mean, it seems like at this point, anything Taylor does is not going to be good enough for these people. It's really messed up. So Pooch says if Taylor were to lose her shit and start personally attacking Daniel, that Pooch would be prepared to raise his hand and take some of the blame, take some of the heat off of Daniel. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, this is so stupid. This is so messed up. It's honestly disgusting the way that they are talking about and treating Taylor in this house. So a little while later, Daniel tells the cameras he's now leaning towards nominating Taylor as the replacement. And it doesn't seem to change his mind when Taylor comes in and offers Daniel safety for next week. And I just want to note, she doesn't realize at this point that she is being heavily considered as a replacement nominee. So she is trying to make this deal because she genuinely wants to work with Daniel moving forward. A lot of people are not giving her the time of day or trying to work with her, so she's looking for people. But yeah, Daniel does not seem interested in taking the deal at this point. So then, you know, the momentum is definitely moving towards Taylor going up on the block. But just wait, because it's going to get much worse. So Monty checks in with Paloma, and this is where things get pretty cray-cray. Joe is also in there, but whatever, he's in there. Okay, so Monty says to Paloma, hey, I was talking to Taylor the day before, and Taylor told me that you, Paloma, are going after the big dogs and the alpha males. So Paloma says, that's a lie. That's a big lie. Taylor is lying. Is not a lie, though. There are multiple receipts floating around from the feeds where Paloma has been saying, oh, we got to break up the big guys. We got to break up all those guys up in the have-not room. She's saying, I want 2 guys up on the block. That's our goal this week. It's all out there. She has said all of this stuff. And I'm really hoping that Big Brother is going to show these receipts on Wednesday because it's wild. But honestly, at this point, I'm not sure if Paloma knows and realizes that she said these things and is just trying to cover her ass. Because, of course, she's not going to want to admit to that to Monty's face. Or does she genuinely believe that she hasn't been saying those things? And I'm kind of leaning towards that because she has been talking a lot and saying a lot of outrageous things, especially in the last 24 hours. So I would not be surprised if she just forgot that she was saying those things in the past. And now she's like, wow, Taylor's a liar. I never said those things. I don't know which is worse. But Monty is saying, oh, I believe you, Paloma. I knew like you wouldn't say something like that. Taylor's lying. Don't bother like checking with Taylor or anything. Just, you know, take Paloma's word for it, I guess. Weird. But Paloma says Taylor has to go now. She has to go this week. She can't be spreading these lies about me. So after that conversation, Paloma starts going on tour. She's working up tears here and there. She's saying Taylor is making up random lies about me. She's attacking me. She's not a girl's girl. She lacks self-awareness. Talk about lacking self-awareness. Am I right? But at one point, it would appear that Taylor may have like overheard what Paloma was saying, or maybe she was just getting upset because every time she walks into a room, there's either nobody there, nobody wants to hang out with her, or people just like stop talking and leave. So she's feeling very lonely in that house right now. But Taylor is crying by herself, and it is so messed up, so heartbreaking to watch. I feel terrible for her because she doesn't deserve any of this. I haven't seen Taylor do like any of the things that they're accusing her of doing. They said that she was like making fun of Jasmine for her size. I don't remember that. Saying like, oh, she made a comment when I dropped my pineapple on the floor. Or Paloma was saying that she called me out when I was in the shower and I made a face and she asked, what's with the face? Like, what? Like, it's all this stupid stuff and like things that are being taken out of context and like blown out of proportion, but it's really, really messed up. So, as this story spreads around, like, oh, Taylor's telling lies about Paloma, no one is taking the time to ask Taylor for her side of the story. No one's bringing it up to her at all, which is really weird and shady. In fact, Monty is telling Daniel, I don't even want Taylor to know why she's being nominated until she listens to her goodbye messages. Monty's like, she doesn't deserve the right to know. She lied to me to my face. Some really weird energy going on here. And just to give you the context of this, I feel like there's more to it because I'm pretty sure Monty has admitted that he has a crush on Paloma. And also, I'm pretty sure Monty has said that the diary room was trying to like ask him questions about Taylor. Like maybe they're trying to encourage a showmance between Taylor and Monty. So Monty's all like, no, I like Paloma. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on here. It's also strange to me that Monty was sitting on this information for so long before bringing it up because I believe he was saying he had this conversation with Taylor on like Friday morning and he's not approaching Paloma about it until Saturday night. So like what is that all about? Why is this just coming out now? Also, Taylor was trying to help him by saying, like, look out for Paloma, look out for these people. And he just turns around and sells her out like that. Yikes. But there's also just this sense of Monty, like a bunch of people in the house, but Monty especially is like, how could evil Taylor make up a lie about Paloma, the sweetest girl in the house? It kills me when they're all saying that Paloma is like the sweetest girl in the house. Unbelievable. All right. So that was like Saturday stuff. And then yesterday, I'm not going to get too much into the nitty gritty because it sucked and there wasn't anything like all that great going on. Lots of crap talk about Taylor yesterday. But a few of the house guests were having some doubts. Michael was like, Taylor's the target now for game reasons, right? Like, I would hate to get out of here and see that, like, it was just because of things that she said that were, like, blown out of proportion. That's what's happening, though. Michael knows. And Alyssa's all like, have we misread Taylor? She seems really sweet to me. Daniel is worried that he's going to look racist for nominating 2 Black House guests week 1. And it got to the point where he's, like, crying about it. It's not necessarily that he's nominating 2 Black House guests, but the microaggressions and the flimsy reasoning that have led to this are sketchy. I'm not saying he's racist. I'm saying it's sketchy and there's been a lot of implicit bias. Microaggressions, like I said, it's not good. It's not a good look. And Daniel was also, after a while, saying, you know what, I feel a little bit better because Monty said it's okay and Monty is a strong Black man. What? Like, I'm not going to get into all that, but it's just, okay. So, all of this kind of like people questioning themselves leads me to believe like production may have already dropped some hints at the house guests like, hey, you need to look at your life, look at your choices, take a step back and see what this is going to look like to America and to the viewers because it's not good. So I think there could be something to that. Also, Paloma is like already planning for next week and saying that she wants Terrence out, and she's like trying to justify like, oh, it's not bad that it's going to be 2 Black House guests, like people don't know what's going on in here, blah, 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 like a mess. Okay. Meanwhile, also Paloma is already crowning herself the winner of Big Brother 24. I cannot believe the things that have been coming out of this girl's mouth. She's like telling Monty, I've unlocked the key to this game. Everyone is telling me stuff. I know everything in the house. That's why I feel so confident now. And she says, I'm at checkmate at this point. I see how this is all going to end. It's week 1. Let's just remember that. It is week 1. She says, checkmate is me winning the money and investing in all of your businesses. Ma'am, that's illegal. You cannot be like, if you let me win, I'm going to give you guys all some of the prize money. That is against the rules, and I hope that production will bring that up to her. But Paloma says, I love you guys too much to take the money and run. You know, I want all of us to have some of it. She says, I found a way to hack BB. So she's saying all this, and she's saying she's going to win and all that stuff. She can say all this craziness, but a bunch of the house guests were freaking out the other day. Taylor is the devil because she was trying on her finale outfit and saying, like, look, this is what I'm going to wear for the finale. When number 1, everybody was asking her to, like, put on a fashion show, try on a bunch of her clothes. Number 2, everyone goes to the finale. Whether you're winning or losing, you will be at the finale, and I'm assuming you have already picked out your outfit from that. For that, whatever. But yeah, that's her rubbing it in people's faces. What? So Paloma again is saying, like, it took me 5 days to solve this game to the end. But I've got it figured out now. And she said, we're still gonna play this game, even though I've already figured it all out. I am stunned. I just can't. I can't do it. The fall of Paloma will be glorious. I don't know when exactly it's gonna be. I feel like it'll come pre-jury because people are already kind of looking at her sideways and being like, I think you're losing your mind. But whenever it happens, it's going to be glorious. All right. So today they have the power veto ceremony. Michael used the power veto on himself. And as expected, Daniel put up Taylor in Michael's place. And I want to note there was no warning for Taylor before. Daniel did not clue her in. Nobody gave her a clue before. So it's Taylor versus Terrence on the block. And it's not looking good for Taylor at this point. Not that I want Terrence to leave either. But, you know, things can change at the drop of a hat. Plus, we still have the backstage twist. Can you imagine if somehow Paloma ended up going this week because of the backstage twist? Like, what? That would be hilarious. But anyway, Taylor was upset and she was crying after the ceremony when the feeds came back. She says, you know, it would be one thing if I was nominated for game reasons. I can accept that. But she was really upset because apparently Daniel said that she's up there because she's rubbed some people the wrong way. Oh my God. Come on. Okay. Now, this next part. Try not to punch your computer screen. Like, I cannot believe that this is something that actually happened. When the feeds came back, Paloma was being comforted by none other than Taylor. Taylor was being comforted by none other than Paloma, if you want to call it comforting. But Paloma's telling Taylor, look, we're all human beings. We can't be judged off of one bad moment. And she's like, we're breaking the internet this season for being raw and real. Like, this season is all about 16 people having animosity towards each other. Sometimes I feel like Paloma she'll like start a sentence without thinking about where that sentence is going to end. But she's like, yeah, we're all a family. We're all nice to each other. There's no animosity. We're all going to be on a yacht in Greece after this. And I'm sure Paloma's like, I'm going to be, you know, setting this up because I'm going to win. She also said, like, I haven't even thought about the money yet. What? You were just saying before how you're going to get the money and invest in everyone's businesses. Like, what? But she's like, all 16 of us, we're family. And Taylor, even if you're sitting on your couch watching the rest of us, like, be cheering us on because we're all going to be great out of here. What is this? This is actually insane. Like, my brain is going to explode. I can't handle this. So Paloma tells Taylor, you still have time. You know, you can make this happen. And if you have one friend out of this, it's me. And I'm here for you. So Taylor does not realize all the shit that Paloma has been talking behind her back. So Taylor is crying. She's like, thank you. I love you. And then Paloma starts crying too. And Taylor's like, I just feel bad that I was hurting people's feelings. You know, I want to apologize to whoever it is. Like, I want to know what I did wrong. I want to right these wrongs. You didn't do anything wrong. Oh my God. So Paloma is trying to rewrite history, telling Taylor, like, I wanted to work with you. All the girls wanted to work with you, but like, we thought you were with the guys. You had it out from her from the second she walked in the door. Give me a break. Get away from her. Get away from Taylor. But we've got 3 days left until the eviction. We'll see what happens. You know, you never know. Plus, again, we have the backstage twist, and we have no idea how that works yet. So we'll see what happens. But I want to thank you all so much for being here. And hello. Can you believe this ish? I can't. Where did they freaking find Paloma? Probably on Instagram, or Tinder. I don't know. But Bowie, let's thank our super chatters.
Intercourse Island reject.
Maybe she's a Love Island reject. I don't know. But anyway, let's thank our super chatters.
Like David?
Maybe, yeah. Jefferson Tucker, thank you so much. Always appreciate it, and we love having you in our little community.
Stage manager.
Yes. Sean Davis, thank you so much. Sean says, the fact that no one comforted Taylor when she was crying or leaving her in rooms by herself is sad to watch, right? The BB house just magnifies who you really are. Yeah. It is really, really sad that nobody's really stepped up for Taylor. I mean, I will say there's people like Michael, Brittany, they haven't been talking crap about Taylor, but it also makes me sad that they haven't been going and like comforting her either.
They've been a bunch of blanks.
It's very disappointing, but thank you so much for the support. 5 ordered steps. Thank you so much. Or is it just ordered steps?
It's ordered.
Ordered steps. Thank you so much. They said, I'm not watching the show anymore. I'm so done. I just don't like what's happening. I'll continue to watch your recaps and try to make lives when I can. Thank you so much for continuing to watch us. I'm hoping that this season will get better.
I'm already done. I'm checked out as of Thursday.
It is very disappointing to see such a horrible start so early on. I'm hoping that things are going to get better because this is just not fun to watch at this point. Bailey Almos, thank you so much for the super chat. Bailey says, might be a new addition, but didn't realize BB Can was on Paramount Plus. Any favorite seasons or ones to watch first? Thanks, Maddie and Janet. Oh my God, you're going to love Big Brother Canada. It is a wild ride. There are so many things that Big Brother Canada does right that US gets wrong. And vice versa. But there are a lot of really great things happening in BB Can. So I hope you enjoy it. I guess my recommendations last season, season 10, slapped so hard. I don't know if that one's up there yet, but if it is, so good. Season 2, a lot of fun.
Season 1 is even fun.
Yeah, season 1 was a lot of fun too.
Gary.
Yeah, Gary. Season 4 with Tim and Nikki. Nikki, rest in peace. Wild ride, so much fun. Season 5, amazing. They brought back a bunch of vets.
Watch the romance of Dem and Ika.
Yeah, Dem and Ika, they're engaged now. So those are the ones that come to mind first for me. Thank you again. And I also want to thank Amanda Kenny. Thank you so much for the super chat. And Amanda says, I'm crossing my fingers and toes. There's some way Palomar plays this week. I keep wanting to call her Palomar too, because that's how they had her name on that first like cast reveal. And Amanda says, ugh, she's making me want to bang my head against the wall. Much love. Seriously. Wasn't she the one who said, oh, my dad's a psychologist and his advice to me was to just listen. I'd love to see like a word count on Palomar compared to everybody else this season. It's just, I can't keep up.
Palomino.
Yeah. So thank you again so much, Amanda. And thank you, APB1969. Thank you so much for the super chat. All right. I think we got to get out of here. I got other stuff I got to get to today. So thank you all. We will see you tomorrow. Hopefully things will get better. And
don't hold your breath.
Yeah, well, stay hopeful, right? And until next time, much love. Bye.